Welcome back to another episode of the Downsizing Roadmap podcast with your hosts, Jody Roscoe and Heather Fisher. We're talking about all things downsizing, from our own experiences with clients to guest experts. Let's make downsizing easier, one conversation at a time. Welcome back to Downsizing Roadmap. I'm Jody Roscoe.
I'm Heather Fisher.
And today we're going to talk about decluttering for a fresh start. Not just less stuff, but, a fresh start. So we talk a lot about our mindset and kind of getting dreamy about what our future is going to look like. And I think no matter where we are, that is something that we don't do enough. I don't think we do enough of, when we're younger, we think, we're going to do this next and we're going to do this next. And then I think we kind of get into life and we just start taking one day at a time and what's going to come. And we don't really spend a lot of time thinking about, hey, what's next and where are we going to go and what's that going to look like? And so on this one, we're going to talk about doing that. Really, spending some time in your mindset around what the future is going to hold, and then looking at your stuff in your house and what you've got through that lens. Like, would I need these things if I'm changing my life? If I'm going to move to the beach, would I need these things, or what would I need? So, starting with really thinking about your mindset and your future of what that future is going to look like as a fresh start, not just looking at your stuff.
Yeah, I think a lot of times when we're talking about downsizing, we're talking about a house not working for you or, needing some extra care. But really, there's a whole, phase where your house, physically might work for you. You're young, you're active, you're doing that, but just that maintenance of the house and the time and money to have a house that maybe was filled with, your kids and a busy life of sports and friends over of the kids and all of that, where it doesn't not work for you. But if you made it easier, downsized your things, downsized the house, what could you fill that space and time and resources with?
Yeah.
That you're choosing as that fresh start at a new phase in life. So
yeah.
Talk about that.
Yeah, I think we're both in that phase, honestly.
Absolutely.
Your last child has just gone to college, right? And
yeah.
Ryan still has a couple years, but Maddie's already, gone to college the same as Lauren. And so this is the kind of stuff that we need to start thinking about. I'm not ready to move yet. I mean, I still want the kids to be able to come back from college for a couple years. And, but I have start thinking, what are we going to do with all this space? And, do I need these things? And so, and really, I need to start a little bit more thinking about what is that whole future going to look like? Where would I want to live? Like, what if I could do whatever? What would that look like? So
yeah, and I think there's a whole, room for a house that still works for holiday gatherings and all of that, but maybe isn't the same as what you needed for day to day having everybody living there.
Yeah.
And what are you trading in every day, dusting, cleaning, moving, heating and cooling bills and all of that yard work that you could trade for, still that home that everybody wants to come over for Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah.
But your day to day, is that trade?
I think you're building that.
Yes, trying to, for sure.
That's awesome.
We're working on that next step and that next plan that works for both of those.
Yeah.
But it's different than the house that, the kids were raised in and the needs of that for them to have, the basement for video games and the yard for playing with friends and all of that. So
I currently know how many kids are in my house that are Ryan's friends by how many shoes are in the mudroom.
Which is such a joy as a mom to just see that.
There's a pile of shoes.
When it's your own kids' shoes left by the door totally constantly, you're like, get those shoes cleaned up. But when you see that it represents that they're, thriving and having their friends over. You're like, oh, I love that.
Yes.
Pile them up, kids.
It's so true. Yep.
Yeah.
It's so true. But that won't be forever. And so what's going to be next? So we just want to talk a little bit about, reframing your mindset around making space for what's next. And does some of this stuff not really need to go into that next phase of life?
Yeah. And not delaying
right.
making those things, because, if the opportunities are wide open, they narrow for all of us as our health changes and we age and all of that. So,
well, and I think what happens too, when you've moved into the big house or the bigger, whatever that you're raising your kids with, there's plenty of places to put things and not think about them at all. Like, they aren't in your way. Yeah. They are just in the basement or in the attic or in the storage, area, the shed, whatever, garage. And they're not really irritating you, but you really shouldn't be keeping them. There's no need to keep them. So don't wait until you really are ready to make a change and then have to deal with that stuff all at once, maybe more quickly than you want to.
Yeah. I think too, we have our in-person downsizing classes, and we ask people, questions, and they're giving us lots of input in that. And people, put words to, oh, I don't want to downsize because I still want the family here for holidays or whatever. And all of that is totally valid. But just make sure that you're not all encompassing, like, I love my junk drawer because I want the kids to come over for the holidays. Like, there's a lot you can do.
Yeah.
That is not the, get rid of everything, and, make sure you're not rolling all of your delay into one thing that you're not quite ready to make decisions on.
One day of the year. And then just all of that. Yeah. And then just saying, oh, I don't need to deal with this right now because I'm going to stay here because we're having Christmas at our house or whatever.
Yes.
So So some of the things that you can, as you're looking around at things and kind of through that lens of what's the next future going to look like, and is this going to fit into it? Would you even buy this again for the life you're living now, let alone the life that you're living in the future? I mean, I definitely have things, that went because my life is different now, and I don't really need those things. My Barbie dream house is not with me anymore, but it was amazing at the time.
Absolutely. As was mine. Yeah. I love that reframing of that question, because we ask that a lot, that would I buy this again? And I love that second part of it. Would I buy this again for the life I'm living now?
Yeah.
Because like you said, it doesn't mean it was a bad purchase.
Right. Or it didn't serve you at the time.
Yeah.
But maybe it doesn't serve you anymore.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You can create a digital or a physical vision board for what your space should look like, or your lifestyle could look like. So I have all kinds of Pinterest boards. I don't know if you have those or not, but when I get like my brain stirring about something, I just go create a new Pinterest board about that, whether it's the, family room or whether it's the, travel or whatever that is. But I do have a lot of those. But you can create, a visual, like you can create that like with tape and pictures, or you can create that visually. But I think it is helpful to put your visual ideas all in one place and kind of just have like instead of words, visually it is different to look at it.
I've tried to avoid the rabbit hole of Pinterest and not have all the Pinterest boards. So I don't do that, but I do a vision board every year, and I haven't always done that. And doing that, it does make such a mindset shift when you have that somewhere where you can see what those dreams are and what you're doing. All dreams or goals or plans come with a lot of mundane tasks to get there. But when you know why you're doing whatever it is that you have to, layer on top of each other to get to that goal, it's a lot more enjoyable because you know that reason and what the fun reward of that life that you're designing.
Right. So if you're going to let go of, the bigger house and go into something smaller, is that smaller in the mountains or by a lake or at the beach? Or is that smaller still in your same town, but you get to travel and, do some other things, on your vacation time or whatever that looks like? What is it? And put it on a board and, work yourself towards it.
Yeah. Yeah. Because when you're doing the tasks of going through closets and drawers and all of that, you know why, and you're excited about that.
My grandpa bought a little Winnebago when he retired, and him and Grandma drove all over the country for a couple of years.
Oh my
I'm not sure that was her dream, because she was trying to cook eggs on a little propane burner, but he did, and they did, and they.
How long did they do that?
I think they did that 2 years, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe a little longer. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I remember being in it a little bit. And
yeah.
It wasn't a long-term thing. But they did go and see a lot of things.
A lot of people love doing that.
No. I mean, my grandpa was a history buff, and he was like your own personal tour guide. I went somewhere with them every summer. And he would plan the whole trip, back when it was the triptychs and all of
yes,
and you're turning the page and all of the things, and we had the AAA book to whatever. But he would read up on everything, and so as we're driving, he's like, and we're passing this, battlefield and all the. I mean, he knew everything, and he loved doing that. So I get why the Winnebago was, his dream.
Yes.
Maybe not her dream, but they made it work for a little while.
Awesome.
But anyway, whatever your dreams are. Put them on a board and go and move towards them, and then, look at your house and the things that you have through the lens of that.
Yeah. And I mean, back to, episode we did a few weeks ago on, those couples conversation. Sounds like, your grandma and grandpa could have used that. But if you are defining it for yourself, if there is someone else involved in those dreams, it's a great time to just make sure you're working towards the same dream, or finding that mutual dream, so that you're both motivated and it's not just a chore of why are we doing this?
Yes.
Can really change things.
Yes. So, when you're doing this, it doesn't have to be some big chore, right? It can be fun.
Yeah.
You can do some, do like a little, have some wine and sort your pictures, or you can do all kinds of fun things. You could do it as a 30-day challenge. We have a checklist for that if you want to get on downsizing.roadmap.com, and you can download a 30-day checklist, or 30-week, whatever.
Yeah.
Small space, start into small each day and just create a habit around it. You can put on fun music and have your friends over. I don't know if you have one of those friends that loves to get rid of stuff, that's the one to invite.
Yeah. Well,
I think, motivate.
We end up, we're friends and we're in the same, phases in life. And when you have that friend, you can go back and forth, but you're not doing it alone. So if you're facing, just a daunting task at your own house, it's not really asking, oh, can you come do this for me? It's like you do a little bit at your house, you do the next day at their house, and you just are enjoying that time together and doing all the same chatting you do at lunch, or, however that works out, pulling in a partner and just accomplishing both, situations together is an amazing way to do it.
Well, and right now, my daughter's in a place where she's going to get an apartment probably next year. And I mean, we could go through the kitchen and really cull through some of that stuff that I don't use, the stuff that's in the top shelves or in the back, and, kind of outfit out that without spending new money on all of the things, and really thinking about what that could be.
Yeah, so family or grandkids that might be at that young adult stage and want lots of that. They're great people to not do all the work before they come over and hand them a box, but put them to work and go through it together.
Go through the kitchen drawers.
Yes, and the reward is you get all of these things.
Yeah,
so,
So all kinds of ways that you can do that and make it more fun. And you can sell stuff. You can sell some of it. If you have good, nice clothes, you can sell those on Poshmark or, eBay, all of that. OfferUp, Marketplace. There's all kinds of places that if things were expensive in the first place and you feel like they have some value, you can sell those online.
Yeah. One of the suggestions was a swap party. It makes me laugh thinking we had a downsizing event, and everyone that attended, had to bring a bag of things they were ready to get out of their house. And multiple times we've done this event, and each time they end up swapping things. So not sure that helps the plan totally, but I think
so. The last one was birdhouses. Like when somebody had a birdhouse and they both brought
gentleman brought birdhouses in their donation bag, and they liked each other's and swapped. So.
Which is kind of fun though, that you get something new and you haven't spent money on it. So.
Absolutely. And you're more likely to go home and
use that one for a while
and do that. But makes me laugh because we see that a lot in the donation swaps when we have people bring in donations.
Well, I think people trade books a lot, but you don't think about trading other stuff. You have things, and is that something anybody wants?
Yeah.
And then, Facebook also has, those buy nothing places, so you can let things go there, people who actually really want it. I probably have told this story before, but I was cleaning out my Halloween stuff, and I had a bin of it, and it was stuff that the kids had used when they were younger, and I really wasn't putting out anymore. And so I just had a whole bin, and I just said free Halloween bin. And this lady came and got it, and a couple hours later, she just texted me, and she's like, they've been playing with it for hours, and they're just having the best day. And that's amazing. It was just sitting in my basement, So it can make you really happy to share things with others.
Yeah.
So.
I've been invited to costume jewelry and things like that, accessories.
Oh, that's fun.
Like a swap party. And so you can get some new stuff, but like you said, you're not spending money. So if you wear it once or twice and then you decide, then it ends up in your own donation. It is fun to have that. So
yeah, I love that. And saving the environment a little bit there, right?
Absolutely.
So the ripple effect of letting stuff go is usually just, it feels so much lighter.
Yeah.
It just feels like you get more clarity mentally and less weight on you mentally. And less visual noise gives you a calmer space to live in, a calmer mind. I think people sometimes just don't realize how loudly the things are screaming at them in their house.
Yeah.
Because you're just used to it, and you've gotten used to what that feels like. But when you really go into a calm, serene place, like you want to go to the spa, right? And listen to the music, and it's not got stuff cluttered all over the place, and it just really changes your mindset. Well, your house can be like that if you, really put your mind to not wanting all that clutter around you.
Yeah, I don't think we can say that enough. And it's hard to see at the beginning of the process when you're just used to how things are, and you have that, I own it, it's mine, I don't want to give things away, emotion around the process. But just hang in there if you can get that momentum going, that new peace and love of the sereneness of not having too much and not carrying that burden around all the time. I mean, it's priceless.
Yeah. I mean, not that it's dirty, but it does kind of feel like that if you, rinse, like you just almost like you've rinsed off the whole layer of something.
Yeah.
Not that your stuff is dirty, but like just that's how it feels. Like you've been out on the beach and you're sandy and you've got like all of that whatever, and then you come back and you take a shower and it's just like the best shower on the planet. Well, that's kind of what it feels like, just letting your stuff go to the point where you feel very peaceful in a room that you're in. It feels the same way to me.
Yeah, I love that feeling, and it leads to each day after that feeling so less overwhelming.
Yeah.
Because it's done and you're free to spend your day, how you want to.
It's funny to me that you, like, if you're overwhelmed in life in general, which many of us are, we've got work, we've got, kids, we've got parents, we've got so much going on. You don't think that you can relieve some of that just by cleaning up your stuff. You think you have to fix the problems of whatever it is with the kids and the parents and all that stuff, and not realizing some of the extraneous, like, stuff that's out there can make you feel so much more calm without fixing those big problems that aren't going to fix immediately.
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to just that basic principle of if you make your bed in the morning,
Right.
how your day is just different.
Yes.
And then you come home to that feeling. You walk in the bedroom and it's made and ready for you to go to bed. I mean,
Right.
you know, can you imagine going to a hotel and they just kind of had
the bed was all
rumpled,
piles
even if
of
it was
stuff
clean.
all over.
Yeah, it was just rumpled. Like that wouldn't feel peaceful.
Right.
And so, you know, living in our own houses,
Yeah.
we could gain that peace if we tackle this.
Yeah, because I think there's a lot of chaos that happens that we can't control. There's just things that are happening in our lives that we can't control. But this is something we can control and would lead to much overall feeling of much more peacefulness. So even though chaos is always going to be happening in some level, probably.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you can save tons of money if you do this. If you sell items or you avoid rebuying items. You might be able to make a little bit of money. Sometimes, you know, a lot of things don't hold their value, but you might be able to make a little bit of money. But you also might really start to shop intentionally as you go forward because you've just cleaned things out. You don't want to fill them back up again. And so you can definitely save money there by not spending it. And that sounds so obvious, but it's true. Like, I think you get in this mode of like, oh, we're just going to, you know, Amazon that to my door or whatever, which is very convenient and all of that. But if you get in a different mode of like less is more,
you see things through a different lens,
Yeah.
and you definitely consider, because you've taken all the work to get to this point of less. You know, you see what that represents, and you don't want to go back to that clutter or too much stuff.
And what could you do if you saved a couple $100, you know, here and there? What could you do with that? You know, you could go have a nice dinner, or you could, you know, save it a little bit more and go on a vacation, or you could you know, give it to your kids to help them get started, or whatever. There's so many things you could do with that money. So purposeful again, just about that.
Yeah, I saw a meme the other day that was something like, you know, my saved for later Amazon cart is up to $3 million or something. And I think that it resonated with me because I definitely am I get lured in by a, you know, social media ad or see something on Instagram or whatever. I'm like, oh, that's cute from Amazon.
Yeah.
But I put it in my cart and I don't buy anything at that moment.
Yeah, give it overnight.
And I just, you know, then I actually need something that I need from there, and I downgrade it all to save for later, and it just builds up. And, you know, thankfully I don't pull the trigger very often and get that stuff I don't need, but just having that thinking time on it, I still get the little burst of, ooh, I added that to my cart. But
it's like you shopped for it, but you never really got it.
I don't really buy it. Yes, which is
funny.
okay. I don't.
Yeah, because you'd be buried by it.
Yes. And then I go back and I scroll through and I'm like, I don't know. Why did I even want that?
Yeah.
So.
Just a whim. So and you gain time too. So not only money, but you gain time. So, less stuff to move around, less stuff to clean around. According to the National Soap and Detergent Association, decluttering can reduce household cleaning by 40%. 40%. That's crazy.
It's crazy, but I believe that.
I believe it too.
I believe that.
Because if you have to dust around tons of little, the pre-clean.
I mean,
my kids definitely have to. Well, one of my kids has to pre-clean before we clean.
Well, you know, whether you have someone coming in to clean for you, or if you're doing it yourself, if there are so much stuff on the surfaces, you're not, whatever surface it is, you're not just wiping the rag, the sponge, whatever, over it. You have to move all the stuff first and then clean all those items and
dust everything.
Yeah, so I think if the surface, whether that be the floor or, you know, counter surfaces, table surfaces, if they have a lot less, the cleaning of those surfaces would take so much less.
Yes.
You're just pulling out the vacuum and running it, not picking up all the things and piles.
Yeah.
To do that first.
And the less stuff you have, the more flexible you are. Like, you can pick up and move, you can travel, you can do more stuff if you can be more flexible with your lifestyle if you have less stuff. So when you're thinking about all of this, think about what you might gain by letting go of stuff, not just space, but time, money, freedom. What things are you gaining?
Yeah, opportunities too. I think we have seen several clients here this year that, they had a thinking of, well, I'll move, if that space I want opens up at the community they want, or I'll move if that perfect condo in the community I've had my eye on opened up. But they were ready for the opportunity because they had been starting the downsizing process. And so when the opportunity came up, it was like, okay, yeah, go time.
Yeah.
And they got exactly what they wanted for their dream.
Well, and I think when it's saving you time and all of that, you can use that time to figure out what the next thing is too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, as you're working through that, go look at ranch homes or patio homes or beach houses or whatever it is that you think you're going to do, RVs, whatever that looks like. Go look at them. Go see what, and you're like, oh yeah, I could do that, or yeah, no, I don't think that's actually what I want to do, or how much longer do I need to work till I get to that, or all of those things. Just answer some of those questions. Spend some of your time figuring out how to answer those questions, so that you can get yourself towards it, not just the stuff in your house, but all of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we have a free fresh start checklist. So downsizingroadmap.com, we have downloads for our different episodes. So check that out if you're thinking you want to do this, and start by getting dreamy. We always say start by getting dreamy, right? So you're not just letting stuff go. You're making space for joy and clarity and freedom and your next phase, right? What's that going to look like? Because it's not going to be the same. You're not going to need the same things.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't need any lacrosse sticks anymore. I haven't needed those for a while.
Yeah.
But they're still in my garage, possibly.
Yeah. Well, I think that, empty nest, which we're both approaching, sometimes that connotation is, what will I do now? And all of that. And it's such a wonderful opportunity to go out and choose what that is,
right,
and be ready to do it,
right,
whenever, that time gets here and you're just ready, you have a plan, and
and in the meantime,
it.
You get to enjoy all of that freedom inside your space.
Absolutely.
In the meantime, so
awesome. Well, we will be back next week with another episode, and as Jody said, check out our resources on downsizingroadmap.com. See you next time. Thanks for joining us on the Downsizing Roadmap podcast. If you found this episode helpful, be sure to subscribe, leave us a review, and share it with someone who might need a little downsizing inspiration. Have questions or ideas for future episodes? Visit us on our website, www.downsizingroadmap.com. Until next time, let's keep simplifying and moving forward.